I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. Or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free.
Like most of our listeners, I've been waiting for this victory lap for a long time. Michael and Jean Valentino, we won.
We absolutely won, and we did it in a big fashion. You know, it's amazing, and you know now I think we're starting to hear maybe the Democrats not talk too much about the popular vote anymore. That was so funny. You know, I heard somebody say yesterday, Gene, that the Democrats are now wanting to outlaw the popular vote.
Yeah. Well, the popular vote is what they hung their hat on for such a long time, and now they're seeing firsthand, in plain view, right before their eyes, that not only the popular vote was won, and won substantially, but the Electoral College, which helps break up the confusion at times, Michael, and sort of clears the air, is now even more resilient. Electoral College, let's see, Trump 301 for Trump, 226 on Harris. Total votes on the popular side, 72 million votes for Donald Trump, and Harris, 66 million votes. Now, hold on a second. When we were talking in the weeks prior, we were talking about this horse race, 49, 48, 50, 49, this horse race of neck and neck, Harris had to keep Harris in there to sustain viability for her, that she may be in fact a legitimate candidate against Trump. Guess what, folks? The point spread was at least 8 points. That's exactly what we predicted weeks ago. We said between 5 and 10 points, Trump wins. Actually, I thought he'd win by closer to 15 points. But because of the election ballot harvesting, the issues of fraud and these mail-in ballot count issues, the debacle that remains as we speak in Arizona, in the Gallego-Kerry Lake race, and other races like that around the nation, is why we need, Michael, and this is now proof positive, we need a constitutional amendment. And with a Republican president, a Republican House, and a Republican Senate, God darn it, let's do it. A constitutional amendment that says there will be one election day. Make it a paid holiday for all I care, but one election day that gets everybody to the polls. The only exception would be the affirmed, the ill, and that would require a second signature to make sure the vote is real. But also our friends and patriots who are working overseas, who obviously cannot make it to a poll. They are entitled to vote. We need early voting just for them, but that it be controlled. How come in a state of Florida with over 30 million people now, and they're still flocking in, that we were able to tally our vote before midnight on the same day of the election for all offices?
I'll tell you
and
why.
Here we have over
I know why.
Huh?
I know why. Because they want to do it.
Yeah. The trick right now, and I'm looking at the numbers as we speak, we have about 6 more House races that we need to confirm. And those House races show that right now today we have 211 people in the Republican side of the House of Representatives, and the Democrats have 199. So the Dems have lost 2, and the GOP has gained 2. On that basis, Mike Johnson went out the other day and put the word out to all of Congress on the House of Representatives side and said, guys, I'm in the game. I'm running to be your House Speaker again. So that takes care of the House of Representatives, and absent any fraud or malfeasance, we're likely to see a GOP majority in the House of Representatives. Now to the Senate. We have 3 people in front of us right now: John Thune, John Cornyn, and Rick Scott from Florida. Rick Scott works hand in glove with Donald Trump. Rick Scott has helped facilitate success in the first term Donald Trump had in place. Last night, I was doing some research, and I discovered that Senator John Thune is a good old hunting buddy of Dick Cheney and friends with Liz Cheney. Is this who you, and by the way, John Thune, a good old buddy of guess who? Outgoing Mitch McConnell, which has been the cause of some of the problem in the first place. John Cornyn and Thune are bosom buddies to Mitch McConnell. They need to step aside. The Senate needs to elect Rick Scott in full force with vim and vigor to let him be the facilitator and the collaborator with our next president, Donald J. Trump. We need that. We need that absolutely. This was one of the problems Donald Trump suffered from without having a full House or a full Senate with him just 4 years ago, 4 to 8 years ago. So now we have a situation where if Donald Trump gets the House leadership behind him, if Donald Trump gets the Senate leadership behind him, then they'll move in light speed. In this being Donald Trump's last term, he will do in days what took months and years to do just 4 years ago. And back then we thought he was moving fast. I promise you it'll move real fast. Heads up, quick pivot. Keep your eye on Tom Homan. Tom Homan's going to be a heck of a guy. I interviewed him on Gene Valentino's Grassroots Truthcast. Tom Homan will be head of ICE, I predict. And I think that's going to be a big plus for America's national security. And we can't let the segment go. Go ahead.
No, he's the right guy for that job, no question about it. And I saw your interview with him. That guy knows what's going on. He understands, and he can step in day one and fix it.
He said to me, Gene, if you have former ICE employees out there who kind of left the system because of the last 4 years, you tell them that I'm ready to reactivate those guys. If we're going to put 85,000 more people in this crazy budget back on the front line for ICE and try to fund ICE, what, to process illegals coming in? Hell no. Those new people coming in who will be hired or rehired will be people that will be part of a mobilization to take millions of illegals back out of this country. Now, there is a plan in place to help some of these illegals who are truly benefits to the United States and not harm causers and truly trying to take advantage to come to this great American opportunity. Then they can re-enter the immigration application process legally, and we'll give them an opportunity to do it. We do need some of these workers, and we do need them to be contributors to the American society if they prove themselves to be good American patriots. But that's the second point. The primary point, the illegals must go. And we've got a Delta force in place that looks like they're going to be looking for over 300,000 getaways or illegal children, the children that have come through that have been victimized by these cartel coyotes and pushed into the neighborhoods and become sex slaves and slaves in general to these bad perverted forces. These people will be uncovered as well. The cartel is going down, and they know it in Mexico, and it's only weeks away.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And Tom Homan will be the guy that will start that process with ICE. And of course, you're going to need a Homeland Security director that's on board as well. Don't know who that's going to be. But anyway, before we run out of time, you know, one of the things you and I talked about before we got on the air is the absolute meltdown that's going on and the finger pointing in the Democrat Party. You know, they've had some pretty bad behavior, Gene. What have they done to themselves?
We have talked about this. I'm so proud to be part of the Pine Belt's WMXI broadcast every Friday morning because it helps me, this show helps me reflect on things that have developed in our conversations with you and Ted over the last 3 years. 3 years this month, congratulations. And during this period of time, I've noticed that the Democrat Party, a party that my father was part of, going back to the 40s and 50s post-World War II, a party that was conservative in nature and believed in a hard work ethic, has done a complete reversal. They have abandoned the plain folk of this Americana. The Republican Party has stepped up instead to do the same. The Democrat Party has lost its ethics, its morals, all standards that we are espouse. My dad became a Republican because of it during the Ronald Reagan administration. And this is a pattern that I say to the younger generation, the Gen Y and Z crowd, take a harder look at America, guys and gals. Become a Republican and study the history that preceded you and me. And you will learn firsthand why it's so important to become a Republican and to be part of the Republican team. The problem with the Republicans is that we're self-deprecating and we often criticize ourselves so severely. It's because the democratic process insists on it, that we correct ourselves, but we do it because we're challenging each other's views. We're not calling each other hostile threats to democracy or Hitler or fascists. We don't do that to each other. We simply question each other on the merits of an issue. That's healthy. That's what the democratic process involves. The Republicans were trying to nix that kind of conversation. The Democrats, I meant, were trying to nix that conversation the last 4 years and cause you to follow suit, to step in lockstep with their select few at the top thinking. That's why Elon Musk is hated so much by his fellow wealthy Mark Zuckerbergs, George Soroses, Bill Gateses. Those guys are in big trouble now for trying to steer a narrative down a social Marxist path that almost put our nation in ruin. Not so anymore. It's a new day in Dodge, folks, and a Republican conservative administration will give you the chance to speak your mind. But then if you don't get it your way, suck it up. Get on board and cooperate with the majority that happens to feel differently from you. That's what democracy is all about. Who the hell gets it 100% of their way 100% of the time? Fascists, elitists, Marxists do, that turn a nation into a dictatorship, that turn a nation into communist control. And we stopped it in its tracks. America spoke loud and clear. It wasn't by a 49-47 margin. Check the popular vote. It came out to be 8 or 9 points more, and I'm so proud that the final tally will show that to be so.
Yeah. Hey, look, and the fear that they tried to instill in us, you know, that it was going to be so bad, dictator coming, fascist, Hitler, all that stuff. Well, guess what? I remember a Democrat president that said one time, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
The Justice Department is at the top of the list, though, because many of us feared, Michael, incarceration. And many from January 6th are still incarcerated. They need to be released.
Right. Okay, Gene, we got to go. That's it. We took all the
Thank
time.
you for having me, and God bless America.
Yeah. Have a great weekend, buddy. Bye. You know, Gene is still with us, and we talked during the break, and he says, I've got to follow up and finish my thoughts on this because because he wants to do a summary.
Let's don't leave him hanging.
Well, Ted and Michael, thanks for having me back. You know, we get carried away sometimes, but I just wanted to conclude by saying that we have tested the American system beyond belief. I would never have expected that these Orwellian objectives of Americana being stifled by the select few elite deep state operatives with billions of dollars over paying geometrically so much more in these campaigns than the Republicans. And yet America steps up and still seems to vote correctly is a testament to the strength of our democratic process. Our constitutional republic has withstood tests throughout its near 250 years of existence. And we as Americans should be so proud that it has withstood these tests. Other nations, other governments are jealous and would beg to have a governance, a constitution of their own that could withstand such hostile attacks over time. America has won again. And I just wanted to conclude by saying that we should never take that for granted. We're tough on ourselves at times, but when we acquiesce and become victims of the state, where the state knows better than you and me, that's Orwellian. And we've got to remind ourselves that we're the boss, we're the leaders of this nation, and we hire people through a voting process to represent us. And when they stop representing us is when you should raise your eyebrows and say, what's going on? What deep state inside cabal is trying to take control of what our founding fathers created nearly 250 years ago? God bless America.
The global elite, Gene, that is where this is. The East Coast, West Coast, U.S. elites and the global elites are trying to take America down. And that is what we have been seeing in full force over the last 4 years. And, you know, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. And that's what we saw here.
The system, very cumbersome at times, Michael, helps protect what you just said. You just threw the right jab, and the left hook is the knockout punch when America steps back up and comes in and says, "Oh no, you don't. I'm in charge." It reminds me of my early days when I had a teenage son. I let him get away with a little bit of it. Then finally I got ticked off enough and says, "Oh no, you don't. That's where I draw the line. You had your chance to express yourself. Now we're going to put some standards back in place." The standards are being reinstituted throughout America through a constitutional republic sitting against the backdrop of a democracy. The people are showing resolve. And this is I have almost a tear in my eye saying it, because I, like many, wondered where this nation was going and bit my tongue after many of these weekly shows you and I have done over the last 3 years, Michael and Ted. But I'm convinced now we have regained our strength. We've got a lot to fix. I pray that we put some constitutional amendments in place that stick around long after you and I are gone to penalize any of the bad behavior we have seen, where actionable words of such vile and hurtful commentary, a form of violence unto itself, is not free speech. It was hurtful rhetoric that the Democrats used against the Republicans, starting with Trump, but it transcended down through the different elected offices, right down to the local level. This is not normal behavior. We have a transformational change that's just occurred in our political culture, and we better learn from it to 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 protect this democracy for our posterity.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And guess what? Christmas time is coming, and guess who's going to be getting a Christmas card from Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Bill and Hillary Clinton, maybe Putin? There's going to be a lot of folks sending Christmas cards down to Mar-a-Lago this Christmas, I guarantee.
Yeah, and never mind this woke crap. Put the Christmas tree back up in front of the city hall and town hall like it used to be.
That's right. That's right. All right, Gene. Well, that's it for this break. But thank you for having a second encore for our. We always enjoy having you, and we appreciate you coming in on Friday. You have a great weekend, bro.
I thank the two of you.
Throughout history, the spirit of patriotism has prevailed. The battles may have changed, but the values remain the same. Today, in 2024, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment where the call for unity, freedom, and a better future echoes louder than ever. For more than 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been committed to supporting the values that make our nation great. With affordable plans and reliable nationwide coverage, Patriot Mobile is not just a wireless service. It's a call to action for those who believe in the American dream. Because this year is not just any year, it's the most important year since our nation's founding. Choose a wireless carrier that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.